Instead of following up to keep in touch, people follow up to aggressively sell something. Hey guys, it's Natalia, founder of Upskill Me, and we're continuing the conversation about how non-native speakers can excel their communication skills in business. I want to talk about follow-up emails today. I was a bit overwhelmed when I read your comments about my experience with follow-up emails, and I realized that people make one and the same mistake all the time that I used to make as well, which is they don't contact people because they're interested in people. They only contact people if they're interested in people's opportunities, people's bank account information, people's job title, people's status, people's line of work, the brand which people represent, and it's kind of sad, you know.
It's sad, you understand?
On the one hand, it's polite to follow up with someone you met at a conference or someone you had a meeting with. On the other hand, instead of following up to keep in touch, people follow up to aggressively sell something, and that usually shows that people have no interest in people whatsoever. They only have interest in collecting as many business cards as they have, and they call these business cards, or they call these people prospects. They don't even call them people, they call them prospects. So they collect business cards, they count the number of prospects they met at a conference, and then they prepare stupid, long sales pitches that they mass email to all those people they met at a conference. And it should not be this way. So how do I follow up with people that I meet at conferences or at big events where there's so many people I have never met before? Rule number one, I always remember that I have no idea, no clue if this person I have just met will become a client, a business partner, or we will stay in touch. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
And when I meet new people, I don't plan this in my head. I see this all the time, that people look at the badges. They don't look people in the eyes, they look at their badges. And if the badge says investor, you're suddenly an interesting person. If the badge says Louis Vuitton or any other brand that you're particularly interested in meeting, or Google, then suddenly this person wearing a badge becomes an interesting person. Of course, I also look at people's badges because I'm interested in their names and I'm interested in what they do, but the information on their badge is not the decisive factor for me. And it's not how I make a decision whether I want to have a conversation with this person or not. Because I can make a decision that I want to do business with this person, and this is how most people think. They meet people at the conferences, they analyze in their head, okay, this is the person, this person is a managing director of this group that I need to connect to sell more of my stuff. So in their head, they already make these weird calculations, and they plan how they're going to follow up and offer them their product, or they already plan future meetings, and it's all happening in their head. Because when people meet people they need at the conference, they rarely have a lot of time to communicate, right? So people are busy, people go from booth to booth, and someone is giving a talk, so they're busy preparing for it, and you don't really have time to sit down and talk about it, and no one does it. Usually you meet people, you can have lunch with them, coffee, go to the bar, but real business starts after the conference, and this is why I follow up with people. When people are done with the conference, then they need a couple days to catch their flight back home, or they need a couple days to also sort out all the emails that arrived in their inbox while they were drinking champagne at the conference. They also need time for that. And only then they're ready to meet and discuss new opportunities. Sometimes it's different, I agree. Sometimes business happens directly at the conference, but I don't think I've seen a contract being signed directly at the conference. I mean, you meet a new person and you sign the same day. It never happens. And the problem that I see a lot at big events and conferences is that people go to these events with so much hope in their eyes They think it's hope, but in fact it's desperation.
The desperation.
And they're trying to sell everything they have at the first meeting. This is the most pathetic thing. The pitches are usually horrible, but you know how you introduce yourself and how you pitch your product to a person you have never met before, it's a different story, it's a different video. For now, in this video, I want to focus on follow-up emails. So the problem that I see is that people follow up with potential prospects, not really people, and people don't follow up right away. Let me explain the second one. Let me explain the second one. My first language is Russian, and I work with a lot of Russians, and after I did this post about follow-up emails, I received a lot of comments from Russians as well who told me, oh my God, I've been doing the same thing. So what happens is that Russians go to a networking event, to a conference, they collect a bunch of business cards, and by the way, if your first language is different, let me know in the comments if you're probably doing the same, or if the same standards apply in your culture, or if you see it a lot in your culture. So they collect these business cards, they come home, these business cards just lie there waiting. They do nothing with them. And then maybe a month later, or 2 months later, or maybe a year later, they remember that the time comes and they remember that they met this person back then at the conference, and this person might help in this situation that they're going through right now. So they start going through these business cards and, oh, I have their email. And they email them and they say, hey, I met you at the conference 6 months ago or a month ago and I need this.
I wish they could understand how badly I need this.
And people genuinely don't understand what's the problem. And people genuinely tell me, well, yeah, why would I follow up with them? I mean, I only email them if I have some business to discuss. But would you want to do business with someone who you don't remember, A, you don't care about, B, and you see that this person hasn't made any effort to communicate and to see if you could potentially be good business partners, C. You know, when you write people only when you need something from them, you're taking advantage of people, and people feel taken advantage of. And that's not a good start for any business relationships. This is why my rule of thumb, and I told it before already in this video, I have no idea if we're gonna do business or not. Very often I'm invited to spontaneous lunch or dinner or just a drink, and a person invites me, but then turns out that 10 more people are invited and I have no idea who I'm gonna meet. But the second crucial point is that I have no idea if I'm gonna do business with these new people I meet. So I treat everyone just like, you know, people, not clients or business partners or prospects. They're just people who also came to hang out. Who are also tired, who had a long flight, who are also hungry, who are also thirsty, and we just hang out and chat. And when I follow up with people that I liked. Yes, of course, I also have these thoughts in my head. Yeah, this person works for fun. This person runs an interesting project. This person lives over there, and I'm planning to travel there to another conference. So I'm also making this connection ideas in my head as well. But in the first place, I follow up with people that I remember. I follow up with people that I enjoyed spending time with. And my follow-up emails are not sales pitches. And believe me, I made this mistake so many times, especially 2 years ago when I was going to conferences just to sell one thing. I would follow up with everyone. Like I would collect a bunch of business cards and I would just write a long sales pitch to every person I met, hoping that something's gonna click. And that was terrible. Don't do this, okay? Don't do this, it doesn't work. People don't feel good when they receive emails like this, because when I receive emails like this right now, I don't even read them, honestly. It's just, hey, I need this now. So what, right? People appreciate when you're genuine, and everybody wants a relationship. Nobody wants another sales pitch. Everybody wants a relationship. So you gotta figure out what kind of people you want to meet and what people you want to have a relationship with. after the conference. There are a lot of people that I keep in touch with, even though we met 2-3 years ago at some of the conferences. And they're just nice people. We're not doing any business yet, or maybe we will never do any business together, but they're just nice people.
Of course. Nice people.
And I'm not saying that business doesn't happen at conferences or there's no chance. Yes, there is, but you're maximizing your chances of success and finding clients, partners, investors, and people who can help you strategically in your business if you treat people as people and not as potential investors. Because you have this idea of what this person has to do for you, and this person has no clue. And why would this person even consider helping you if you haven't made any effort to communicate? So this is why when you write follow-up emails, I asked a lot of people that I respect, a lot of people I learned from, I asked them how and when do you send follow-up emails. Everybody told me that I do it the same day. I'm not that advanced yet. I collect business cards and I write follow-up emails the day after the conference because I need to clear my head a little bit. But yeah, the day after the conference, maximum 2 days after the conference, I write all my follow-up emails. If I want to meet a person for lunch or for dinner during the conference, of course, I'm going to connect with them directly on LinkedIn, and we already connected. Yeah, sometimes we directly connect on Telegram or LinkedIn, but just to remind people that we met and how we met, I write follow-up emails if this direct conversation didn't happen in one of the messengers. And so these people tell me I do it immediately.
Immediately.
Or the same day, because otherwise I will forget and people will forget. And this genius ideas that I have, they might go away as well. So it's quite interesting that people try to do it right away. And these people have amazing relationships and they're quite successful in business. I'm learning from them. What you write in follow-up emails is very simple. You don't ask for the invoice. You don't sell your services. You don't offer to send them an invoice, because I've seen situations like this, it was terrible. What you do is you write about a situation that connects you both. You met somewhere, right? There was, for example, this conference that I've just been to, and there was a bar right in the middle of the hall. And it was the first time I saw something like this, you know, a bar in the middle of the conference, so people were just standing there and drinking. So I came up to the bar and I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
What is going on?
And I met two people, so we had a nice conversation. So when I follow up with them, my subject line said, we met at the bar in the middle of the conference. You talk about something that connects you with that person you met and something that happened in reality. This way the person will immediately remember you, because if you say, oh, we met at the conference, you know, I met tons of people at the conference. You need to specify where we met, what we did, what we said, what we were talking about, and what we agreed on doing next. And sometimes people share information about their spouses. They tell you where they live. Some people live in quite exotic locations. Sometimes they tell you something about their children, something they're proud of. And if this impresses me and inspires me, I also mention it in my follow-up emails because I'm really impressed, and that really got stuck in my mind after that meeting. So
you really impressed me today.
I remind them that I remember this little detail about them, and that makes them feel good, and it makes me feel good because now we have a real connection, a conversation. My follow-up emails are very short, and I simply, the example would be, hi, name, and remember to use their name. It was great meeting you at the conference and at the pool party again. I would love to stay in touch and continue our conversation about Tenerife and new iPhones, or whatever you were talking about. I would love to continue our conversation about, and here, not business, something apart from business, something you remember about the person. Maybe they're planning to run a marathon, so I would love to continue our conversation about marathon in Vienna, and let me know if I can help with XYZ. Maybe again, you were speaking about at the event. It has to be as personal as possible. If you plan to copy-paste emails, no one is going to be impressed and no one is going to reply. And then you finish your email by saying, let's keep in touch. If you're planning to go to any conference, let them know. So I'm planning to be in, Italy in November. Let's catch up if you're there. Have fun and leave your contact details. So that they know where they can find you. If they requested some information and you promised to send them something, yes, please do so. You can say, by the way, you asked for my website, here it is. That's it. Don't use verbs in imperative. Don't tell them, please look at my website. Please read
Please read.
my website. Please check the PDF attached. Don't use any of that language because I just met you and I met a number of people like you who all want to sell me something, and everybody tells me go, do, read, call, follow up. You're giving me a job. I don't need a job right now. I just want to connect. So instead, you might say, if you had this agreement before, you were asking for my website, here it is. If you didn't have this agreement, don't send them anything. If they remember you and you're interesting and you continue the conversation, they're going to ask for it themselves. Believe me, people appreciate when you don't put any pressure on them. What you want from a follow-up email is you want to reply. Because if nobody replies, maybe they're busy or maybe they don't remember you or maybe they're not interested. You want to reply. So send them a follow-up email, connect to them on LinkedIn, and you might remind them about yourself on LinkedIn sometime later if they don't reply. As soon as they accept your invitation, you might send them a short message reminding them of who you are, because sometimes people are just busy. But don't try to sell anything in follow-up emails. Don't try to push them to do anything in the follow-up emails. And don't write follow-up emails too late. Write follow-up emails to people and don't write follow-up emails to clients or investors when you suddenly need something from them. People feel it immediately. Well, this is it. That's the message for today. Good luck with your follow-up emails and your business.